Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome back to the podcast Maria Lessing from German post-hardcore band Future Palace. The new Future Palace record, Distortions, is out this Friday, September 6th on Rising Empire Records. Maria and I dive into the new record, when writing started, the lyrical direction for the album, and the band's plan for touring the album. If you're a European listener, the band has a headlining tour starting in October that will run through the rest of 2024, so don't miss Future Palace if they are coming to a city near you. And if you haven't heard my first interview with Maria, where we dive into her background and the band's history, I will link that episode in the show notes for you to check out. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of As the Story Grows. If you're new to the show, welcome. Thanks so much for listening. You can find links in the show notes or at asthestorygrows.com to our Patreon page, to our Substack, and to our Discord server. All great ways to connect with the show. If you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast. We release 2 episodes every week, and you never know when you'll discover your next favorite band. There are new and cool bands every single week, and you might surprise yourself and discover something that blows your mind. I know I do every week when I do this show. And lastly, if you listen and you say, oh, I think so-and-so would really like this episode, share it with them. Sharing is the best way to grow and show your support for the podcast. Enjoy this conversation with Maria from Future Palace.
You like my body and you watch, but I don't want to. Well, if you dress that way, it's almost like I'm forced to. Scan me from head to toe and zoom in on my tattoos. I want to tell you, you should really fuck you. If I could rap, you can just say it to my face. Well, this would ever become a someone could save place. I got so tired of fighting, so I keep fighting. If I was a man, would you talk to me the same way? You're a person, you are bad.
Okay, I hear you well from my MacBook, so
Okay.
that's strange. That is so strange. Okay, I'll try again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now it works. Okay,
Yeah,
now
there
it
we go.
works.
Woohoo.
I don't know what that was. I'm so sorry. Never
all
happened
good.
before.
Sometimes
right.
technology is just like, fuck you, and doesn't work. Like,
It is.
It's delightful. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing okay, but a little bit sick still.
Oh, man.
But I'm okay. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Are you doing a lot of press for the new album right now, or is it early on where things haven't really ramped up?
We're still early on. We started, I think, last week, or no, the week before, and then last week I was ill. That's why we had to delay all of them. So we're still at the start.
Because I've talked to you before and we've already deep dive your history, let's just dive into this new record. At what point did you guys start writing this album?
So it's hard to tell because we don't sit together with pen and paper and just start. It is our guitarist, Emmanuel. He does lots of instrumentals when he's at home. He now lives in a different city. We used to both live in Berlin. Now he lives in Hamburg, so another city in Germany. And he just sometimes starts writing and uploading the stuff to Dropbox. And I think that started already in 2022. Around then. And that's also when we did the song Malphas. And so it was already starting, but we were pretty busy with also being on tour and having festivals and so much. So kind of it was a long process, but for me, it was more compressed to like December, January. Or December, actually all in December. So it's a little different for both of us.
Yeah. He's been writing and stretching it out, and you're just like,
and I was
coming in last minute to do your
burning out.
When he brings you the riffs, but was there any point where, as a band, you sat down and you were like, okay, with this record, our third LP, we want to try X thing, or was it just like, all right, let's build off what we did on Run?
It is, I don't think we tried to build off of Run really or connected. It was more like we experienced touring and having gigs for the first time, like lots of gigs and lots of shows. We played Run live a few times. We've done our headline tour at the end of last year. And I think from all of that experience, I think or these experiences influenced us a bit in writing, because we now knew how people react to certain things, what feels good life, what doesn't, what I am capable of and what I'm not. That's what I also had to learn that very hard way, with overdoing it a lot with my voice, because it's just so different from studio and from touring day after day after day with every weather and every, so I think that it's more like our life just influenced us a bit more, and also what we've listened to and the music we listened to privately, and it just came naturally.
Yeah. Let's talk about the lyrical approach. Escape and Run, when we talked last time, they were very connected, and you had escaped these toxic relationships and now you're running away. It seems like with this record, there's a different lyrical approach that more has to do with being on the road and mental illness and kind of just the world at large. What led to that change?
I think, this album is more general, I would say. It's the story kind of stopped. It's still about us, and it's still a lot about me, but Distortion is from the term cognitive distortion, from psychological term, and I think that sums life up so well in many aspects, that a lot of things in my life also, or especially in my life, come from mental illness and are influenced by mental illness, by narcissism, by borderline, by depression, ADHD, and all that stuff, I think, also plays a big role in our world. And that's kind of what this album is about. It's more like looking even more out of the box, seeing an even bigger picture, and noticing also the patterns in my life after all these years. Like, where do I still see issues after escaping and running from all these things, and what might be the core or the reason for that? And I think Distortion is exactly about just mental issues, different mental illnesses, and maybe not even illness, but like, as I said, other diagnoses than just depression or just having a toxic past. It's a little more diverse, I think. But it also has a lot of similarities still with its former album, sisters, siblings, whatever.
Yeah. Who did the album artwork?
That is a funny story. It's kind of hard. I haven't even talked about the guys, like what can I even share and what not. So I just always tell everything then. And the original artwork we've done with a designer or artist we found on Instagram. I right now forgot his name even, which is such a shame, but I think one of us found him. And I did an entire mood board already when we were on a bus on tour. I did this mood board. It just hit me. Like, I was like, okay, these colors, this font, the chrome look. I have this entire theme in my head for this album, and it's all supposed to be like a dark disco theme and depressed, but still kind of colorful. Just like these mental illnesses come in so many different colors and emotions. And we found this artist, and he kind of created a metal head, which is crying, had black eyes and stuff. And it looked very like 3D rendered. And our label, and that's the first time ever our label really told us to not do something. They've never done it. We've been there for a few years now. Yeah. And they were begging us to change the album cover. And we're like, whoa. Because nothing against that artist. I think we just didn't really work together with our vision, and we were okay with the results, but it was not 100% the idea we had in the beginning. Yeah. And we were like, okay, we're gonna change it if the label really hates it that much, because they said it looks like EDM, and please just try to work around this.
Oh man.
And we had to really last second change it, and I went on Photoshop, and we took away the head and played around with the background, which was also more the original idea, like a distorted kind of background. And I was like, let's keep it simple, let's just leave the distorted background, which is enough for the message, and put on the album title, and that's it, call it a day. So that's a little chaotic, as everything I will probably tell you about this album. You guys have been releasing singles, I mean, from this album basically since Run came out. Malphas was not long after. Because it's such a long process,
And just it's the way the music industry works, where I know especially a rising empire, there's so much emphasis on releasing singles slowly. When you get to this product and you have the album, is it a little underwhelming, or is it exciting to present it as a whole picture?
I think this time it's exciting because for me personally, I think it was like the first album that is like an album. And because we just knew we had a little bit more time, we had more experience with everything, and I tried to have more of a concept this time, and we also felt more free this time to just do stuff we like, which is ironic because we had that pressure on us that people say, this is the third album, this one is a make it or break it album. Like you either make it now to go bigger, or you stay the level you're at, and that's it. And I really try to not listen to that, really, because I was already under so much pressure for so many reasons. I really tried to be just creative and really pour out what was in my head and in our heads. So I am pretty excited because there's songs on there, and I love all of the songs, and that is pretty rare thing for an artist to say, because I love them for all their creativity and for the freeness somehow, because of all that chaos led to more creativeness, weirdly. Because when you have lots of time, you can overthink things over and over and perfect them. But when you have little time, you kind of have to be acceptable, like have to accept things quicker. And I just feel like it's pretty creative somehow. And that's why I'm excited to share it.
Yeah, there's a more just going with your gut and your inspiration as opposed to letting any insecurities or overthinking.
Yeah, there was no time for insecurities.
I know with Escape and Run, you were the creative director, and a lot of the music video concepts came from you. Is that still the case on this album?
Yeah, I would say that I even grew more into that role because people now knew, okay, she does that in the band, and we're going to work with it, and we're going to listen. So that was nice. The only thing that changed is that our crew grew bigger for the music videos and for lots of things, just because, we tried to make cooler videos. And we also work with Pavel Trebuchin he's from Riga. He also does many great videos for Landmarks and Imminence and so on and so on. Yeah. And he told us, so if you want to have a crew, you have to fly here, basically. Or if you want to have no crew, we stay in Germany. Yeah. And we were like, let's make this bigger, let's make this cool. And we had a makeup artist for the first time, set designers, they built stuff themselves. We had light people, and many people were on set. It was very crazy. And but I was still the creative director, and it was very nice being involved in such a big production. It feels so crazy when it grows bigger that it's your core idea. It just felt very strange lots of times when many people are involved. I'm like, what if this idea sucks so much? Like, it's my fault and that's so silly. And I was the person that is the reason that, especially one video, it's not released yet. It's going to be our next single, Decarabia. And we are all very much looking forward to the video. Yeah. There was a lot of moments where I was like, oh, well, is this idea going to work? Like, how are we going to make this work? But I think we've made it all work with what we had.
Yeah. Do you feel, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but like when you're making music videos, you're like, okay, how do we up the ante on this one in the makeup department? Or is it just like your brain is just like exploding with creativity where you're like, okay, now I want to try this and it'll be more extreme, more like headpieces and makeup on your body? Like,
I think, I don't even know. I would have to go to a neurologist and tell me what is going on in there. No, but I don't know. I just get these ideas. Like when we shot the first two videos for this album, like for Uncontrolled and The Echoes of Disparity. We shot them in one go. And I was just at the airport and I was like, I have a new idea for the next video. I just got it. I listen to the songs and I just have pictures. I think it's just the nature of when you write the songs that you just also know so much what they're about. You already have pictures. I already have the ideas for the videos while I write the lyrics a lot of times, and maybe even more. I firstly see pictures when I listen to a song. I just dive into that world, and I really try to show people this kind of world that I have on my mind. And it's always very tricky to translate thoughts into videos. And I'm oftentimes very critical and very like, how do you say, strict with myself with that. I try to be very, very close. It's like the same thing when you dreamt something and try to explain it to someone or draw it, and it just doesn't really, it doesn't really show, you know? And I think that's the same issue with that. But for the videos, I think it worked pretty well this time. Yeah,
that's cool. I want to talk about Echoes of Disparity. You have the feature with Charlie on that track. Talk to me about the lyrical inspiration and what inspired you. That seems like more than any of your other songs, it's a big, like, you know, fuck you, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was angry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm off. Yeah. I mean, that song, I was already thinking about writing a song about that topic. I often have topics on my mind, which I would really like to write songs about, but it's so hard to have such a big topic and make a good song out of it, because I'm so critical with my writing skills, and I really don't want to make a superficial bad song for a very important topic. Yeah. And I'm still always not very happy with how I've managed to do it, but I tried. And the inspiration is just many things. The song is also about way more things than just about me. It's about being a woman in this world, like entire world, no matter what country. And so a lot of things influenced me, like personal experience of being over-sexualized, being treated disrespectfully for many years in many places from many people. Yeah. And that all summed up in me already. Like, I had lots of anger already. I also we live in a big city in Berlin. I think lots of things happen here as well, because there are so many people here. And I also watched a few documentaries at that time about Afghanistan, for example, since Taliban took over, that the women's rights are just gone. Yeah. Which really broke my heart. And plus, I also really got into, well, I don't want to say names, but let's say got into that topic of abusing power as a musician. Yeah. And that really made me angry and upset. And I thought it's time to, like, put your fist on the table and talk about that topic loudly and try to use the platform I have as a woman, and use it wisely. Yeah.
You guys are have a big headlining tour this fall after the album comes out. As, I don't know if it's a label side or a band thing, like, is there an importance with, like, building your fan base in Europe and, like, the European metal scene, and that is your focus when touring?
We would also love to go to the US and everything. It's just, to be realistic, financial wise, it is very hard to do that step. You have to get visas, you have to get your crew over there, which is oftentimes not possible. So you have to get a new crew there, new buses there, get your merch there. And people here already know us because we've been doing support tours in Europe. We haven't had a USA tour, Australia tour, whatever. So it would be very hard for us to just dive into a headline tour. Because now we've done I think 3 or so tours of 4 in Europe. And you can tell from tour to tour, you get more people. And now we're playing festivals in Europe. So it just makes so much sense to have this pretty big European headline tour now. Also, UK also included. And we are working, though, ongoing also to other countries, like USA and everywhere, actually. We want to be everywhere.
Yeah, it's like you have to, I don't know if you have to, but it's like you crack a certain level of notoriety or, I don't know, stealing in Europe. And then it's like, I don't know, with Spotify, you can have fans anywhere. And like I saw Landmarks when they were over here, and like the whole knew the songs and were going wild. It was really cool. So
yeah, I mean, streaming wise, I think the USA are number 2. So I think we have lots of people there. But yeah, that's already behind the scenes. That's a very big priority for us, and yeah.
Yeah, I also know it's tough as they've changed visa rules for musicians, and it's really fucking expensive to come over here.
Yeah, touring that's another topic. Our manager, Johannes / drummer, he could probably write a book about this by now. We just went, oh my God, we just had this weekend. We flew to Resurrection Fest in Spain. Oh my God. We, first of all, I was sick, and we booked like very cheap flights, which were leaving at 6 a.m. So we had to be at the airport by 3 a.m.
Oh, man.
And our show was at 8 p.m. in the night, and we flew away. We flew home again the next day. But it was just so many flights and so much money and so much life energy for So that's a different topic.
Yeah. It's pain.